Hey guys, greetings from a super cute little houseboat we're having a little vacation on. Hey, have you ever screwed up a relationship so bad that it ended, that it cost you that relationship? Well, we're human, we make a lot of mistakes, but hopefully you haven't done anything that has cost you that relationship. But if you have, maybe this video will help you. So I'm going to tell you a little story about somebody that I know, obviously camouflaging their names and identifying details so that you can learn from this, okay? Now, it's kind of mean actually, because the guy in here is like super selfish, and I hesitated doing the video, but you're gonna learn from it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it, okay? So here's the dealio with this one. Mark and Katie have been married about 5 years. Now I realize a lot of you guys aren't married, but if you can think long term, then it can help you make better decisions so that your relationships do better. Okay? So that's why I chose to do this one. So Mark, while he was dating Katie, really put on a front. He didn't show her how he really was. He spent a lot of time with her, doted on her, was, super loving to her, as he should be. He was just a good guy. So they get married, and all of a sudden he becomes who he is, unfortunately. And he doesn't spend any time with her anymore. He's always hanging out at sports bars, watching sports, like almost every single day of the week and on the weekends. Like, he thought he was a star because date night was Friday night, and half the time they didn't even do a date night. He became very critical of her, was micromanaging her, was just incredibly selfish, just not cool. And she had spent the last 5 years telling him how she felt about that and trying to convey to him how she was hurt. And he pretty much just gave her the middle finger. So after 5 years of this, Katie left, packed up her stuff, and out the door she went. She shut off her phone for the weekend, wouldn't answer his texts, nothing. So finally, after a few days, she's willing to talk. And guess what Mark says to her? He says, Katie, I'm like really sorry about all that, but what are you gonna do to fix this relationship? What? If I was Katie, I'd be like, excuse me, sweetheart, did I hear you correctly? Do you have a high fever that's causing you to hallucinate? Because I think I just heard you say, what am I gonna do to fix all the mistakes that you kept making for 5 years? Excuse me? Did I hear that right? Unfortunately, I heard that right, and so did you. That's exactly what he said. And unfortunately, this is a pattern of his. He would always turn it around to be something that she had to fix. Now, Katie isn't perfect, okay? Obviously, no one is. But she did not have any deal-breaking decisions. Now, let me explain that a little bit. When you do something that's a deal-breaker, that means it will cost you the relationship. Katie had mistakes, Katie had faults, but she didn't have any deal-breaking stuff going on. Now, Mark did, in her world. To her, she felt like she got ripped off. She's like, you pretended to be somebody that you weren't while we were dating. The second we got married, you became somebody else that I would not have married. So that's how to never get her back, okay? To make things even worse, while Mark was doing all that toxic stuff to her, he would throw in a few random acts of kindness to really mess with her head, and then he would point those things out, like, hey, I just washed your car for you, or I just mowed the lawn, or I just did this, or I just did that, and it would kind of question whether she's overreacting to her hurt. Ugh, such garbage. Thankfully, Katie was way too smart to fall for that. So Mark's either going to have to get his stuff together or lose his marriage. And I hope they don't lose their marriage, because that's never good. But now, so Mark lost her. Now, how does he get her back? What should he have done instead? Well, let's go kind of back to the beginning. Mark, he shouldn't have married her. He should have understood that he's too selfish to be in a serious relationship, much less be married. But now that he is, he really needs to sit and think about life from her perspective. She is very hurt. She feels ripped off. She should. He's not been a good husband at all. He needs to really sit and think about how she must feel. Then he needs to go to her and profusely apologize in detail. And then make every attempt to never repeat the same mistake again. He has to make some major life changes. That's the key. This stuff cannot keep continuing. She should never have to talk to him about this ever again. Okay? Then Mark has some issues with Katie. You know, there's some things that annoy him. This is definitely not the time to bring it up. If he wants to bring those things up, then he should probably spend about 6 to 9 months fixing the problems he's created. And if those things are still bothering him, then to bring them up gently. Don't do it at the same time if you want to get her back. It is not her responsibility to fix the problems that he created. In fact, she tried to talk to him about it and he had his head buried up his behind. So what is she supposed to do about that? Okay? We are not responsible for the decisions of other people. We're just not. So I just want you guys to get that you have to own your stuff. You have to take responsibility for your stuff and not expect other people to fix a relationship that you probably messed up. And if you're in the position where you messed up, respect the fact that she may not accept you back. She might not. You know, this is all kind of like, well, hopefully she does. But if she doesn't, she doesn't. And that's her decision, and you need to respect that, okay? I hope that helps. If you have any comments or questions, of course, please put them down below, and I would just love it if you subscribed. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.